Thoughts versus feelings. Which is first and which is more important? You know, one of the things in the manifestation movement of the 21st, 22nd century seems to be thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. Everyone says it. Thoughts are things. Say it with me. Thoughts are things. But I want to just kind of shine a light on how it really works and what it really means. And I'm not basing this on channeled information from Pleiadians. I'm telling you this based on neuroscience, quantum physics, plus my own experience in many years of coaching people and just understanding human behavior. And, you know, of course, my massive skill and experience in psychology. A thought, by definition, is when two neural synapses connect together. They fire and wire together. When that thought is coupled with an emotion, that connection is stronger. With repetition, that connection eventually becomes a neural network. Okay, so that's one side of the thing. Now the other side is the feelings. When the thought occurs, it's our response or reaction to the circumstance or the event, even if it's an internal event. Like even if it's this thought like, oh, what if I left the coffee maker on? What happens, because though that thought occurred, which is an electrical impulse, that thought occurred, your amygdala became alerted, and then it released the stress hormone, also known as cortisol, maybe adrenaline. So the thought comes first, the feeling comes second. Okay, now let's unpack this a little more. And the reason this is so important is because whether you like it or not, and whether you know it or not, it's running your life. It is the best, biggest indicator of how well you're doing in your business or how well you're not doing in your business. So this is important. When something occurs, an event takes place, you have a thought about it. And what you think happens is that the emotion kicks in first, but that's not true. It's the thought that immediately gets triggered. And here's, it really, really gets technical with neuroscience, because we now know that you unconsciously have a reaction before you technically realize, before you're consciously aware of what happened. And so that's why as soon as it happens and you get that feeling in your gut, or, you know, or you just get upset, it started with a thought, but the thought is below your level of awareness. It happens so fast that you think your reaction to an event is the emotion, but it's really your thought. Okay, and this gets really trippy, because if you think about it, if you think about thought, then you realize that when all the things that happen on a daily basis that throw you off your game, that get you into stress mode or fight or flight mode, or, you know, upset in some way, all of those things, it's not the event itself that upset you. It's the automatic, this filters through your central nervous system, it's the automatic response to the stimuli. So you had something stimulated, an automatic response in your chemistry, in your biology. And what's important to note is this automatic response is triggered by 95% of your brain, what it thinks your outlook of the world and your outlook of yourself are. So if you have an outlook that it's a scary world, it's not safe, then anything that happens, your amygdala is going to say, oh, look, I told you it's scary. And it'll release the cortisol and you'll just be stressed out. Or let's say you meet a partner and they cheat on you, and your response, of course, is going to be upset and stress. But the thought was, people always cheat on me, or men can't be trusted, or women can't be trusted, or there's no good mates left. So the thought and the emotion need to be separated. And here's why. Once you're able to shine a light on the thought and recognize that it doesn't have to be married to that emotion. Okay, let's use another example. Let's use the infidelity example. You have an unconscious thought that, I'm just going to use men. You have an unconscious thought that men always cheat. There's no good men out there. And then you're dating and you find someone and you think that you're really, everything's wonderful, and then he cheats on you. And so as soon as you find it out, your body is filled with cortisol. The adrenaline starts flowing. And the thoughts that come after that, it feels like the emotions were first, but the thought started it. But the thoughts that come after that are not thoughts, they're judgments. I can't trust men. Men always cheat. I knew this would happen. But if the minute you see it, the minute you suspect it, if you stop and you separate, let's just say you caught him red-handed, okay? Caught him red-handed, but he can't see you. This is not a confrontation. We're not talking confrontation here. We're just talking, you caught him red-handed. Stop and ask yourself, what judgment am I making about this right now? Men are cads. I can't trust him. I knew he cheated me, blah, blah, blah. And then ask yourself, did the emotion come from that? Or did the emotion come from my expectation that this was going to happen? And what you eventually will see is that your emotion is in response to an automatic thought that you had. But what we have to understand is it's the automatic thoughts that we have that are creating the outcomes that we get. So we're having these automatic thoughts. I can't trust them, men are creeps, whatever. And that is telling our subconscious mind, show me men are creeps, prove it to me. And your subconscious mind is just driving the bus going, okay, men are creeps coming right up, side of the road, you can catch it there. And then you consciously see something, and even though your unconscious knew already what was going on, you consciously see it, and then all of a sudden you're filled with this anger, this rage, this I knew it. And it's that emotion that you let eat away at you, and then it just reinforces your belief that men can't be trusted. And I really don't even work with marriage counseling at all anymore. So I don't call me if you have marital trouble. I'm not trying to help you manifest anything of that nature. I'm just saying that it's very easy to get our thoughts and our emotions tangled up. And if you ask someone, say something else happens, and you ask someone, well, how did that make you feel? They'll give you your thoughts. They'll give you their thoughts. They'll say, well, he shouldn't have done that. That wasn't nice. And I said, well, that's not how you feel. That's what you think. But then if you ask someone, what did you think about that? They may say something like, I got really mad. Well, that's how you feel. So it's a really good opportunity, should you decide to take it, to explore every time you have an emotion, a reactive emotion especially, to ask yourself, what do I think about what happened? What unconscious thought could have made this happen? And how do I feel about it? Because there are three different things. Okay, want to do another one just so we're really on the same key or on the same page? Let's say you have a client and the client is nickel and diming you to death. And then they send you a text and they want to cut your fee in half. And of course, your reaction, even though unconsciously you knew it seconds before it happened, your reaction is that your throat gets tight, your face feels flush, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this rage. Okay, that's the emotion. The thought unconsciously was, I always get clients like this. I knew he was going to do that. I should have known. The emotion is rage. And now you can ask yourself, does this always happen? Or is me thinking that it always happens and having this emotional biochemistry ready to roll without even being aware of it, what causes it to happen. And then when I witness it happening, I recreate it over and over again. That's how we grow. That's how we grow. People want to come and learn how to manifest. They want to know about the science of intentions. They love quantum physics. They are interested in neuroscience. But no matter what, and this goes from, my goodness, yoga training to the most scientific of, even get into radionics, the most scientific that intention work. People always want to deal with manifesting millions, but they don't understand that it all starts with knowing yourself. It all starts with understanding your own responses and reactions, being able to separate your thoughts from your emotions, and understanding which is coming first and which is controlling your behavior and your patterns and your automatic reactions and responses. Because you are, and who said this? I want to say that Viktor Frankl said it in his book, In Man's Search of Meaning. Beautiful book. He said, the power, I'm butchering it, but it's something like, your power lie between the stimulus and the response. So this happens. I have that opportunity to stop and decide before my chemicals kick in. They're going to kick in until you've totally trained your brain. And it can take a long time, but it doesn't matter, because in an instant, you can change the trajectory of any situation, and you can absolutely stop it from going on and on. But if you don't, if every time something pops up, you're like, I'm going to join a Facebook group about this, then you're just reinforcing the cycle. It's a vicious cycle. This thought, emotion, event, thought, emotion, event, thought, emotion, event. And it's all fueled by unconscious beliefs that you're never going to change anyway. But when you shine a light on them, they just dissipate. They just disappear. Okay? So important to understand. Hopefully that's helpful. If you want to make an appointment and have a session with me to help you learn how to get a hold on your manifestation techniques, let me know. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.